My sister and I both awakened to two systems at the same time. One was the elimination system, which could consume stamina to eliminate anything, while the other was the hoarding system with storage space. As her older brother, I felt sorry for my sister's frail health since childhood, so I chose the stamina-draining elimination system, and my sister chose the hoarding system. Who knew that a week later, the apocalypse would descend? Extreme cold and zombie hordes ravaged everything. I desperately eliminated zombies with the elimination system, and soon became a hero of the city. Meanwhile, my sister could only work as a warehouse manager in the rear. During one zombie horde attack, I fell severely wounded, and when I needed supplies to survive, I discovered my sister had locked the safe house. She looked at me coldly and said, "Why do you get to be the hero while I'm stuck being a warehouse manager?" When I opened my eyes again, my sister had already rushed to choose the elimination system. Seeing this, I knew she had been reborn too. I smiled. She had no idea what price the elimination system demanded. Using the elimination system consumed massive amounts of stamina. Even with my robust physique, I would be left as weak as if I'd suffered a serious illness after using it. And her, this pampered princess who couldn't even open a bottle cap, using it once would probably leave her bedridden for 3 days. The moment I opened my eyes, I heard my sister say, "Ethan, I want the red one." Like a child afraid of having her toy stolen, she quickly reached for the elimination system on the right. The instant her fingers touched the red icon, an ecstatic smile spread across her face. In this life, it's my turn to be the hero everyone admires. Then she looked back at me with eyes full of smugness and contempt. "Foolish brother, you don't know yet, do you? I've taken the strongest ability. In this life, you'll be the one begging me." I leisurely walked toward the abandoned hoarding system. "Chloe, are you sure you want that one? It looks like a combat type. Very tough work." Having obtained what she thought was a divine ability, Chloe was inflated with ego. She flipped her hair and said with feigned maturity, "Ethan, I've thought it through. You've protected me all my life, so this time let me protect you. I'll handle all the fighting and dirty work. That golden one is probably just storage space, perfect for someone meticulous like you. You can handle logistics? Protect me?" I sneered inwardly. She wants to turn me into her tool too. And then, just like I protected her in the last life, drain every bit of value from me. I ignored her and reached out to gently touch the golden symbol before me. A warm golden light instantly enveloped me. System binding successful. Host Ethan. Ability, Infinite Hoarding Level 1. Time until apocalypse, 167 hours 59 minutes. Meanwhile, having successfully bound her system, Chloe excitedly waved her arms at the air. The crystal ashtray on the coffee table vanished instantly. Chloe's face went pale. She clutched her chest and gasped for breath, but then showed an expression of wild joy. "It's real. It's really real. I have that power." She turned to look at me, her eyes no longer showing their usual dependence, but naked arrogance. "Ethan, I'm a bit tired. Get me some water, and give me the bank card Mom and Dad left us. I need to go buy some things to prepare." Her tone was like she was ordering a servant. Looking at this sister who had pushed me into the abyss in my past life, I slowly uttered one word: scram. The air froze in that second. The smile on my sister's face stiffened, and she even doubted she'd heard correctly. All my life, I had indulged her every whim. "Ethan, what did you just say? Are you upset I took the red system? But I'm doing it to protect you." I said, "Get out." I stood up and looked down at Chloe. "Also, this is my house. You have 10 minutes to pack your things and get out." "Are you insane?" Chloe finally dropped her act. "I've awakened the strongest ability. Do you know what that means? The apocalypse is coming. Only I can protect you. If you offend me now, I won't help you even when you beg." She was too confident, thinking I would still grovel before her like in the last life. I smiled and stepped closer to Chloe, backing her into a corner. "The strongest ability?" I suddenly punched the wall next to her ear. With a loud bang, Chloe screamed and crouched down, covering her head. "Your so-called ability, is it just making your few shabby clothes disappear? Did you forget that your ability can only eliminate, not create food? In 7 days, the temperature will drop to minus 60 degrees. Without food or clothing, even if you can eliminate an entire building, you'll freeze and starve to death." Chloe's body trembled. She had indeed overlooked this problem, but she quickly stiffened her neck and shouted, "So what? I can take by force. Whoever refuses to give me supplies, I'll make them disappear. As for you, what use is guarding a broken warehouse? You'll still have to rely on me. Is that so? Then good luck to you." I was too lazy to waste more words on her. I walked to the door and yanked it open. "Now, immediately get out, or I'll have security drag you out. Don't forget, this is still a society of law. I can call the police for trespassing." Chloe looked at my resolute back, shock flashing across her face. "Fine. Very well. Since you're so heartless, don't blame me for being ruthless. When the apocalypse comes, I'll watch you beg me with your pile of junk. Ethan, don't regret this." Chloe rushed into the room and haphazardly stuffed some clothes and jewelry into a suitcase, then dragged the luggage out the door in a fury. Before leaving, she glared at me viciously. "In this life, I'll make you die like a dog before my eyes." The door slammed shut. I leaned against it and let out a long breath. Step 1. Severed ties complete. Without this ungrateful wretch ready to backstab me at any moment, I could finally go all out. Then I took out my phone and checked the time. January 15th, 2026, 10 a.m. Exactly 7 days until the apocalypse. I listed the house I owned, worth about $8 million, online at a 20% discount. Combined with the inheritance from our parents, that made about $11 million. To build a doomsday fortress that could withstand minus 70-degree cold and zombie hordes, plus stockpile enough supplies for several lifetimes, this money wasn't even close to enough. Then I called the bank and mortgaged my company shares and current house. I also made calls to several private lenders, and maxed out all major online loan platforms and credit cards. Like a crazed gambler, in just one afternoon, I had $16 million in liquid funds. That should be enough. Looking at that dizzying string of numbers in my bank account, I felt no excitement, only urgency. Money was just waste paper. Only supplies could save lives. I drove the SUV I hadn't sold yet straight to the suburbs. My target was clear, the abandoned cold chain logistics park in the western suburbs. It used to be the city's largest cold storage facility, later abandoned when the owner embezzled funds and fled. The location was remote, with open terrain all around. Easy to defend, hard to attack. In my past life, it was occupied by a gang and became one of the largest survivor bases. In this life, it would be mine. I found the old man watching over the site and slapped down $20,000 in cash, telling him I wanted to rent it. For setting up a horror escape room for half a month, no contract, just the keys. Looking at the thick stack of bills, the old man smiled so wide his dentures nearly fell out, and handed over the keys without a second word. The moment I got the keys, I locked the main gate and walked into the massive underground cold storage. Though abandoned for 2 years, being 10 meters underground kept it cold and damp. About 3,000 square meters with an 8-meter ceiling. System, scan current space, I commanded mentally. Scan complete. Semi-enclosed underground space detected. Meet safe house renovation requirements. Activate space anchoring. Once anchored, this space will serve as a material transfer station in the real world. You can teleport external materials directly here, at will, and release materials from system space here. Anchor. Location secured. Next, to fill it, I drove straight to the city's largest agricultural wholesale market and went on a shopping spree. My frenzied purchasing caused a sensation throughout the wholesale market. A mysterious young man buying wholesale like he was hoarding for doomsday even caught the attention of market management. But I had my story ready. I told them. This was annual supply stockpiling for several large mines in remote mountain areas, and with the mountains about to be sealed off, everything had to be ready in the next few days. In this age where money paves the way, as long as the money was right, no matter how ridiculous the excuse, someone would help you make it work. As night fell, the first batch of heavy trucks loaded with supplies rolled into the abandoned western suburbs factory. After all the workers unloaded and left, I locked the iron gate again. The vast cold storage was filled with supplies piled like small mountains. I walked to the mountain of rice piled 5 meters high, raised my hand, and placed my palm on the bottom bag store. Instantly, the 50 tons of rice vanished into thin air. I closed my eyes and entered the system space with my consciousness. In that infinite white space, 50 tons of rice floated quietly in midair, maintaining the stacked shape from before. Here, time stood still. Even after 100 years, this rice would cook up as fresh as ever. Awesome! This feeling of having everything in my grasp, controlling it all, was intoxicating. But this was just the beginning. In minus 60-degree cold without a heat source, this food would be frozen solid as rocks. I contacted friends to buy 10,000 tons of smokeless coal and diesel, along with solar panels and generators. With 7 days left, I needed not only to stockpile enough food for 10 lifetimes in this cold storage, but also transform it into a climate-controlled fortress that even a nuclear bomb couldn't breach. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from Chloe. It was a photo of her and her senior Ryan sitting in an upscale French restaurant. Poor brother. After being kicked out, are you eating instant noodles now? Ryan and I are celebrating our new life. If you kneel and beg me now, I might consider sharing a piece of bread with you. I looked at the screen, a mocking smile on my lips. Eat up. Eat plenty. This is the last meal you'll ever have that could be called human food. I casually replied with 2 words, dress warm. Then I blocked her and shut off my phone. I stood on the second floor suspended iron walkway, watching dozens of workers bustle like ants in the belly of this steel beast. Boss, aren't your requirements a bit too much? The speaker was Blake, the city's most resourceful contractor, who now looked constipated, staring at the densely detailed blueprint in his hands. 50-centimeter thick aerospace-grade aerogel insulation throughout, lined with 2 layers of 20mm bulletproof steel plates, and you want all ventilation sealed off except for 2 air intakes with NBC filtration systems. Blake wiped the sweat from his forehead. Brother, this isn't going to be cheap. The money's already in your account. $5 million advance. I need it done in 3 days. All materials must be in stock, and if not, strip them from other construction sites. I'll pay triple the difference. I turned and locked eyes with Blake. Only one rule. Don't ask why. Don't take photos. Don't post on social media. Another $2 million is hush money when you're done. Blake's Adam's apple bobbed violently. $7 million, equivalent to 2 years of his usual profits. You got it, boss. You're like my father. Since you're so generous, let me tell you, if I don't deliver in 3 days, you can twist my head off and use it as a soccer ball. Watching Blake's pumped-up figure walk away, I felt nothing. What I was building wasn't just a shelter, but an ecosystem independent of the apocalypse. I walked to the corner of the factory where a batch of special cargo had just been delivered. The huge wooden crates were pried open, revealing the dark metallic luster inside. These weren't ordinary steel materials, but high-voltage electric fence generators and military-grade blast-proof glass obtained through special channels. In the early apocalypse, the most terrifying thing wasn't zombies but human nature. When hunger and cold turned people into beasts, ordinary roll-up doors were as fragile as paper before mobs. System, store all these building materials and adjust their positions according to the blueprint. During the workers' dinner break, I lightly touched the heavy blast-proof glass, and dozens of tons of materials vanished instantly. Then under the system's precise control, seamlessly embedded themselves into the skylight positions at the top of the factory. As the last construction vehicle drove away, the massive iron gate slowly closed. Standing in the center of this steel fortress that was completely mine, looking at the room full of supplies piled like mountains, not enough. Far from enough. I checked my phone balance. Less than 500,000 left. My purchasing power through legitimate channels was exhausted. Next came the night of $0 shopping. 2 a.m. at the East Harbor Bonded Logistics Center. This was the city's largest import-export distribution hub, with tens of thousands of shipping containers stacked like building blocks at the docks, filled with premium goods from around the world. That night, I practically emptied half the bonded zone's high-value warehouses, until a slight stabbing pain in my brain warned me of mental energy overuse. I reluctantly stopped. Just as I was about to leave, a sudden roar of engines shattered the night silence. several black modified SUVs roared into the port, stopping in front of a concealed warehouse not far away. The car doors opened, and a dozen tattooed thugs got out. A bald man in the lead was loudly berating his subordinates. "Move the stuff, hurry up. Dragon said this shipment must be moved tonight." The authorities had been watching closely. The boxes they were moving bore prominent hazardous material warnings. I narrowed my eyes and activated the system's long-range scanning. Scan results: TNT explosives, detonators, industrial nitric acid, munitions. My heart skipped a beat. This was a smuggling point for the Black Shark Gang, the largest local criminal organization. Looking at that TNT that could not only blow up zombies but breach any defensive fortification, I licked my lips. This is a gift delivered right to my door. With these explosives, I'll have my final trump card. Since I'd stumbled upon it, I wouldn't be polite. I quietly used the system space's properties to circle to the back of the warehouse, and placed my hand on the thin color steel plate wall. This distance was perfectly within the system's collection range. System, lock onto all explosives inside the warehouse and collect them all. The thugs moving cargo inside only saw a flash, and the heavy boxes in their hands suddenly vanished. The air suddenly went silent. Over a dozen gang members stood frozen, carrying positions, gripping empty air, staring at each other bewildered. Holy shit, where are the boxes? This is insane. Dragon, we have a problem. The goods are gone, all gone. The bald leader rushed over and stared at the empty warehouse, his expression shifting from fury to terror to existential crisis. Who did this? Get out here. He drew his pistol and waved it wildly at the air. By then, I had already used the chaos to scale the port's perimeter wall and vanished into the night. 24-hour countdown. The city on its last day remained bustling, no one knowing this was the old world's final twilight. The meteorological station issued a blue cold wave warning, forecasting a temperature drop of 10 to 15 degrees tomorrow. Nobody took it seriously. At most, they'd wear an extra layer of long underwear. I didn't go out again, staying in the western suburbs fortress doing final checks. All doors and windows had been welded shut, leaving only one main entrance. I opened my phone one last time to check social media. Chloe had posted an update an hour ago. Though winter is coming, my heart is warm. Thanks for the surprise, Ryan. The future is bright. Some people can just rot with their dirty money. I smiled brilliantly. I liked it, then commented, "Enjoy it while you can." Just then, the drizzle outside suddenly stopped. Immediately after, a ping-pong ball-sized hailstone slammed heavily against the blast-proof glass. Then came the second, the third. Hail poured down like bullets. Following that came howling winds, and temperatures plummeted. An emergency news alert popped up on my phone screen. Breaking news! Due to a superpolar vortex, global temperatures will plunge 50 degrees in the next 3 hours. All citizens return home immediately. Immediately. This is not a drill. The apocalypse had arrived. In just 10 minutes, the world outside changed color. The road surface froze over with thick black ice in an incredibly short time. A dozen cars collided, instantly bursting into flames. But before the flames could spread, the extreme cold suppressed them, freezing them in an eerie state. People inside the cars tried desperately to push open the doors, but they were frozen shut. Someone smashed a car window and climbed out, but the moment they touched the outside air, it was like all their heat was drained. Their movements instantly stiffened, their terrified expression frozen on their face, turning into a lifelike ice sculpture. The indoor thermometer showed the outside temperature had dropped below minus 30 degrees and was still falling at 1 degree per minute. Inside the safe house, the temperature held steady at 24 degrees. I took off my jacket, wearing only a thin t-shirt, and popped a perfectly seared piece of Wagyu into my mouth. Comfortable. Meanwhile, in a high-end apartment downtown, Chloe wrapped herself in her newly bought cashmere blanket, still shivering uncontrollably. Just now, the entire complex's heating system had collapsed due to burst pipes, and the temperature inside had dropped to minus 5 degrees. Though not yet fatal, for the pampered Chloe, this was already hell. "Ryan, think of something. We're going to freeze to death." She pushed Ryan beside her. Ryan was also freezing badly, frantically layering all his clothes on. "Stop nagging. I'm cold too. This damn weather changed so suddenly. Quick, find some heat packs." "The heat packs are in that box." Chloe pointed to the corner. They fumbled around, searching, only to find fewer than 10 heat packs left, nowhere near enough to last the night. "Wait, your brother, doesn't he have money? He must be in a luxury hotel or bought heating equipment. Call him quick." Chloe grasped at this lifeline like a drowning person, trembling hands dialing my number. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is switched off." "Damn it!" Chloe furiously threw her phone onto the sofa. "That bastard dared to turn off his phone." Don't panic. Ryan's eyes flickered. "I remember now. I saw your brother at the South City wholesale market before. I was far away, but I vaguely heard him repeatedly mention the western suburbs and a factory. There happens to be an abandoned factory there. At a time like this, he must be hiding there. Let's go find him." "But the snow outside is so bad." Chloe looked at the terrifying blizzard outside, hesitating. "Not going means waiting to die. The snow won't stop anytime soon. In a few more hours, the pipes here will burst. We have a car with heat. And once we find your brother, with your system and my brains, we can easily take him down. Then his supplies will be ours." Greed overcame fear. The two wrapped themselves in all their clothes and struggled downstairs, diving into the car. The car started, and when the warm air blew out, both sighed with relief. "Let's go to the western suburbs!" A vicious gleam flashed in Chloe's eyes. "When we see Ethan, I'll make him kneel in the snow and apologize, beg me to forgive his earlier rudeness." Meanwhile, in the western suburbs, I was staring at a corner of the surveillance screen. There, several stray dogs were huddled together, shivering. Suddenly, one dog's body convulsed violently, its eyes instantly bloodshot, turning crimson red. A piercing, inhuman shriek echoed across the wasteland, and that mutated zombie dog viciously lunged at its companions, blood spraying onto the snow, instantly freezing into red ice crystals. This isn't an ordinary virus, it's the extreme cold zombie virus. They're not afraid of the cold. The colder it gets, the more excited they become. I put down my chopsticks, finally here. I stood up and walked to the control panel, and pressed the red button. Level 1 alert. Defense mode activated. The high-voltage electric fence of the first perimeter defense line instantly powered on, blue arcs crackling in the blizzard. I raised my wine glass and toasted to the blizzard on the surveillance screen. Welcome to hell, my guests. The blizzard in the western suburbs had evolved into a white catastrophe, with visibility under 5 meters. A white BMW X5, like a drunk, crawled with difficulty along the road where snow was already half a meter deep. Why aren't we there yet? Didn't you say it was only 20 kilometers? Chloe sat in the passenger seat, wrapped in 2 down comforters. Still so cold her teeth chattered violently. Don't nag. Ryan's hands on the steering wheel had lost all feeling, covered in purple-blue frostbite. The GPS says it's just ahead. Damn it, I can't see the road at all. A crisp crack, and the car body suddenly sank, then stalled completely. The undercarriage was stuck on a hard chunk of ice in the middle of the road. The car's broken! Ryan desperately pounded the steering wheel, but his hand hit the ice-hard leather cover, making him grimace in pain. What? Chloe screamed. Do you want me to die here? Ryan, you useless piece of— Shut up! If you're so capable, you drive. Ryan exploded too, survival instinct overpowering his usual pretense. Get out. That dark shadow ahead should be the factory. We'll walk. The two had no other choice now. Staying in the car meant freezing to death. They wrapped the comforters tight and stumbled into the blizzard like 2 clumsy penguins. They felt like their lungs were freezing, every breath a slow torture. 500 meters, usually a few minutes walk, took them a full half hour. When that steel beast of an abandoned factory appeared before them, the two practically crawled on their knees to the main gate. But the sight before them left them stunned. This wasn't an abandoned factory, this was clearly a steel fortress. The originally dilapidated red brick walls were completely covered with silver-gray metal plates. Chloe rushed to the massive solid steel gate, frantically pounding on the door. Ethan, I know you're in there. Open the door. Ethan, it's Chloe. I'm freezing to death. Please let me in. Ethan, it's Ryan. We're family. How can you leave us to die? The two shouted themselves hoarse, but their voices were quickly swallowed by the howling wind. Inside, I sat on a massive leather sofa, facing a wall of surveillance screens. On them, 2 blurry thermal imaging red shadows were pressed against the gate, like 2 pitiful flies. Beside me, red oil bubbled in a small copper pot, releasing an insanely appetizing spicy aroma. System, turn on external speakers, I ordered calmly. Activated, the speaker outside emitted a crackling sound, startling the two. Then, a lazy, calm voice with a hint of amusement rang out through the blizzard. Who is it? Don't you know disturbing people in the middle of the night is illegal? Hearing this voice, tears instantly streamed down Chloe's face. Ethan, it's me, your sister. Open the door. It's freezing out here. We're dying. Sister. Huh. My voice remained unhurried, accompanied by a slurping sound. Tisk, this duck intestine is slightly overcooked. Who did you say you were? Outside, Chloe nearly choked. I'm freezing like a dog out here, and you're eating hot pot inside? And duck intestine, no less. That damn delicious smell made her mouth water instantly, her stomach growling traitorously. Ethan, stop playing dumb. I know you can hear me. I'm Chloe, your only sister. Open the door now. Once I'm inside, I'll explain everything about before. It was all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I put down my chopsticks, picked up the microphone, and looked at that distorted face on the screen, my gaze suddenly cold. Telling me to scram was a misunderstanding? Or was saying you'd make me die like a dog in front of you also a misunderstanding? That was just anger talking. Chloe panicked. Ethan, you're a man. Why are you so petty? I was wrong before. I'm apologizing now. I'm sorry, okay? Now open the door. This wasn't an apology. It was a command. In her mind, as long as she lowered her head and said those 3 words, I had to forgive her. That had been the rule for 20 years. Too bad the rules had changed. If apologies worked, what would we need police for? I sneered. Why don't you try your strongest ability? Don't you have the elimination system? These words struck Chloe like lightning, right? I have an ability. Why should I beg him? Fine. If you won't open it, I'll open it myself. Don't beg me later. A vicious gleam flashed in Chloe's eyes, and she took a deep breath, energy surging within her body. She slammed her frozen hand against the steel door. Eliminate! A red light burst from her palm, striking the door hard. However, the expected scene of the gate vanishing didn't happen. Instead, the red light was like hitting an invisible wall, instantly rebounding, making Chloe's arm go numb, and she fell backward into the snow. System warning, target object density too high and protected by high-level energy reinforced space anchoring. Host current level LV1. Cannot eliminate. Forced elimination requires life force consumption. Chloe stared in disbelief at the immovable door. My system is the strongest. How could I not even open a door? My merciless laughter came through the speakers. Forgot to tell you, this door cost me $5 million in aerospace-grade alloy, and my system happens to counter yours. Your elimination can't eliminate my hoarding. Now, get lost. Don't dirty the snow at my doorstep. The speaker cut off, then the floodlights above the gate suddenly blazed on, 2 blinding beams shining directly into their faces, making them unable to open their eyes. Chloe sat in the snow, feeling the cold that penetrated to her bones, staring at that door that would never open, experiencing for the first time what true despair felt like. Half an hour passed. Chloe and Ryan hadn't left. Because the car was broken, they could only huddle in a wind-sheltered alcove by the factory gate. What do we do? I can't feel my feet. Chloe's lips had turned dark purple, her eyelashes covered in ice crystals. Ryan was even worse off. He'd given Chloe one of his few pieces of clothing, and now his whole body shook violently, his eyes beginning to glaze over. Don't sleep. If you sleep, you won't wake up. Just then, from above, an aroma so rich it could make your soul leave your body wafted out. The two laboriously lifted their heads. Want some? I stood on the second floor terrace holding the unfinished bowl of hot pot. Ethan, please, just give me a sip, just one sip of hot soup. Ryan finally broke down. Kneeling in the snow and kowtowing frantically upward. I even taught you basketball before. For old time's sake, save me. I chuckled and casually picked up a piece of freshly cooked fatty beef. When you locked me outside, before, did you talk about old times then? I released my hand, and that piece of steaming, oil-dripping beef fell in front of the two, into the dirty snow. Ryan almost instinctively lunged to grab it, but Chloe was faster, snatching up that piece of snow-covered meat and shoving it directly into her mouth, swallowing it without even chewing. That moment of warmth made her moan with satisfaction. Tasty? Yes. So good, Chloe nodded, tears streaming. Since you've eaten, get lost already. My security system detected some little friends attracted by the smell just now. Before the two could react, several pairs of glowing green eyes suddenly appeared in the distant blizzard, low growls carrying over on the wind. They're mutated zombie dogs. Run, run! Ryan reacted fastest, grabbing Chloe and trying to flee, but the ground was all ice and snow, and the two slipped, face-planting hard into the ground. The first zombie dog lunges forward, its gaping maw aimed straight for Ryan's thigh. Help! Ethan, help me! Ryan lets out an ear-piercing scream as he desperately kicks at the dog, but the creature feels no pain. In this critical moment, a flash of viciousness crosses Ryan's eyes. He suddenly grabs Chloe beside him and shoves her forcefully toward the dog's mouth while rolling away to safety. What are you doing? Chloe screams in terror. The reeking jaws are about to tear into her neck. In this split second between life and death, survival instinct conquers fear. Chloe locks eyes on the lunging dog's head as the red icon in her mind flashes frantically. She roars in her mind, eliminate! The massive Tibetan Mastiff's head is completely erased just 1 centimeter from Chloe's nose. Only a headless corpse crashes down heavily onto Chloe, nearly crushing the air from her lungs. Host eliminated Tier 1 mutant. Experience gained, 10 points. Stamina depletion warning. Chloe feels her strength draining away, her vision goes dark and she nearly faints, but she has survived. This little show is getting interesting. I lower the binoculars, amusement flickering in my eyes. Since you don't want to leave, let me point you towards salvation. My voice echoes out again, carrying a demonic persuasion. 200 meters east, there's a security booth. That's your only chance of survival tonight. With that, the window shuts completely, leaving only two figures trembling in the darkness and more green eyes gathering around them. Move! To the booth! Chloe shoves the dog corpse off and staggers to her feet. She doesn't even glance at Ryan. She remembers that shove. In the final second before the zombie hounds close in, both of them scramble desperately toward the dilapidated security booth. The booth is tiny and drafty. They barely manage to block the windows with discarded planks and old newspapers. Chloe, are you okay? Ryan edges closer, trying to take her hand with a flattering smile. Just now, I was trying to push the dog away, not you. Don't misunderstand. After that ordeal, her innocent facade finally cracks, revealing the selfish, cold nature beneath. Don't think I don't know what's in your head. Ryan, from now on, if you dare lay another hand on me, I'll make your head disappear just like that dog's. Ryan freezes, a flash of resentment in his eyes, but he quickly masks it. He knows Chloe now wields that terrifying elimination system. Killing him would be effortless for her. He can only endure. Meanwhile, in the safe house, I hold a tablet in my hands. Though the public network is down, my military-grade satellite receiver still picks up global signals. News from around the world scrolls across the screen. Emergency announcement for the eastern region. The government has activated the highest-level emergency protocol. Official shelters nationwide are now open. Survivors, please proceed to the nearest location. City shelter location. East District Sports Center. Shelter 7. I stare at those coordinates. In my past life, that place was indeed the largest official stronghold in the early days. But precisely because there were too many people, supplies depleted rapidly, and with chaotic management, within a month the infamous granary riot broke out, killing tens of thousands. Looks like history's trajectory hasn't changed. I close the news and open the system interface. Current stockpile, 32,000 tons. System level LV1. Experience, 0%. Upgrade requirement, collect 10 Tier 1 zombie cores. Cores. In my past life, people didn't discover until the 3rd month of the apocalypse that the cores in zombie brains could be used to enhance abilities. But I know now. That fool Chloe was too busy killing the dog to save herself, leaving the most precious spoils of war in the snow. Those are my experience points. Can't let them go to waste. I change into a lightweight nanothermal combat suit and grab my tactical axe. I decide to head out for a stroll, to reap my first harvest on this first night of the raging blizzard, and check if those two rats have frozen to death yet. Wearing a fully sealed nanothermal combat suit and gripping my tactical axe, I move through the western outskirts wasteland. 50 meters ahead, the pack of zombie dogs circles the security booth, 7 in total. I adjust my breathing, then burst out from behind the snow pile where I've been hiding. The first zombie dog is still growling at the booth. It doesn't even react. Before my axe arrives, with a dull thud, the tactical axe splits its hard skull. Tier 1 zombie dog eliminated. Experience +5. The commotion instantly alerts the other 6 hounds. The alpha, a massive Tibetan Mastiff, whips its head around. Those ghostly green eyes lock onto me. It kicks off with its hind legs, its massive body charging like a tank, just as it reaches half a meter from me. I point my left hand at the ground beneath the Mastiff. In that instant, a 2-meter diameter section of ice, along with the frozen earth beneath it, vanishes into thin air. The ground disappears under the Mastiff, and it plunges straight down. Strike while you're down. I leap into the pit right after it. My tactical axe arcs through the air and cleaves brutally into the Mastiff's vulnerable neck joint. A grotesque dog head rolls away. Elite mutant hound eliminated. Experience plus 20. Item dropped. Tier 1 power core. Delight surges through me. I crouch down and, suppressing my disgust, rummage through the mastiff's skull. Soon I pull out a fingernail-sized crystal emitting a faint red glow. This is the hardest currency of the apocalypse. The core, the source of zombie power, and the key to human evolution. The remaining 5 zombie dogs above bark frantically but don't dare descend into the pit. I look up with a cruel smile. Don't rush. One by one, you're all my experience points. With a thought, I retrieve a modified nail gun from my system space. For the next 5 minutes, I stand at the bottom of the pit like I'm at target practice. Battle over. I climb out and search every corpse. Luck is on my side. The 7 dogs yielded 3 cores total. The system experience bar has risen to 45%. I toss the cores into my space and walk toward the security booth. It's empty inside, only messy footprints and a line carved into the wall with fingernails. Ethan, you'll pay for this. Heh, quite the survivor, aren't you? I sneer dismissively. I'm not worried about what these 2 insignificant pawns can do. In this apocalypse, living is often more painful than dying. Since they've gone to the official shelter, let them enjoy their rewards there. That's the real living hell. I turn and leave, my silhouette disappearing into the blizzard. This outing confirms one thing. In this world where all rules have collapsed, as long as you're ruthless and strong enough, this place is my playground, and my next target is Central Hospital downtown. Not only zombies await there, but also the antiviral serum I desperately need. While it can't cure the zombie virus, it can treat common flu and infections, crucial in the early stages. Meanwhile, at the East District Sports Center, the place has been converted into a temporary shelter. Thousands of survivors crowd at the entrance. Cries, curses, and pleas for help blend into chaos. Armed soldiers maintain order with tense expressions. Don't push. Form a line. Temperature check required. Anyone with wounds, immediate isolation. Supplies are limited. 1 bowl of porridge per person per day. Want more? Join the search and rescue team. Chloe and Ryan blend into the crowd, utterly disheveled. Halt! What do you think you're doing? A soldier blocks the 2 trying to cut in line. I'm an awakened! Chloe clutches at this lifeline, frantically waving her hands and shouting, I have powers! I'm special. Let me in. I need to see your commander. Awakened? The soldier pauses. Though orders came down to identify those with special abilities, too many imposters have shown up these past few days. Prove it, the soldier says coldly. Chloe takes a deep breath, fighting through the exhaustion and hunger-induced dizziness. She extends her hand toward a massive concrete barrier by the roadside. Eliminate! A red flash, and the several hundred-pound barrier vanishes instantly into thin air, as if it never existed. The surrounding crowd falls silent. The soldier's pupils contract sharply as he immediately grabs his radio. Awakened spotted at entrance D, spatial type, no, elimination type, requesting orders. 5 minutes later, Chloe and Ryan are escorted into a warm office. Behind the desk sits a middle-aged man in a military coat. He sizes up Chloe. So your ability is elimination? How large can you eliminate? Can you eliminate living people? Anything within a 2-meter diameter? Chloe, finally feeling warmth, speaks a bit more coherently. Living people too. Just now on the way here, I killed a mutated Tibetan Mastiff. The commander laughs. The expression of someone who just heard a joke. Little girl, you kill 1 dog and think you're invincible? He stands and walks to the window, pointing at the dense zombie horde outside. There are tens of thousands of zombies now. Your ability that exhausts you after a few uses is worth nothing on the battlefield. Chloe's face instantly stiffens. However, the commander's tone shifts as his gaze falls on the snow-covered runway outside. Your ability has a more suitable purpose. The blizzard has blocked the roads. Supply trucks can't get through. The airstrip is buried in snow. We need to clear a lifeline. Snow removal? Chloe feels utterly humiliated. I'm supposed to be the protagonist with a cheat system, destined to become the queen of the apocalypse, and you want me to be a janitor? I refuse. I'm an awakened. How dare you humiliate me like this? Refuse? The commander's smile vanishes instantly. No work means no food here. Even the awakened work for what they get. Fine. Choose not to work. Then get out and go back to the blizzard. He waves his hand. 2 soldiers beside him immediately step forward, their gun barrels rising slightly. Ryan's legs go weak with fear. He quickly grabs Chloe's sleeve, frantically signaling with his eyes. Chloe, don't be rash. Stay alive first. We'll figure it out later. Chloe stares at those dark gun barrels, then thinks of the hellish cold outside. Her pride shatters. I'll do it. She grits her teeth and lowers her head in humiliation. Half an hour later, Chloe is assigned to the Special Clearance Unit, number 098. Her job is simple. Stand in front of construction vehicles and continuously use her ability on the snow and debris ahead. Eliminate sections of snow walls. When one section disappears, the convoy advances. Each time she uses her power, her body feels completely drained. Faster! What's the holdup? The convoy behind is waiting. The supervisor bellows through a megaphone. Ryan, having no abilities, is assigned to the lowest tier transport team. His task is to carry those who froze or were bitten to the incineration pits. The stench there could knock someone out, plus there's constant risk of infection. But to survive, to get that half-moldy bun, he can only endure. Late at night, both collapse on the communal sleeping platform in the gymnasium. Hundreds of people are crammed here. The stench of sweat and feet mingles together. Chloe stares at her swollen, festering hands, tears streaming down uncontrollably. It wasn't supposed to be like this. She thinks of Ethan, of that warm fireplace. Ethan, you must be so pleased with yourself right now. Chloe grips the filthy blanket tightly, her nails digging into her palm. At this moment, the plaza in front of Central Hospital is packed with frozen zombies. These creatures aren't dead. The moment they sense a living person's body heat, they'll awaken instantly. System, activate stealth field. I expend a small amount of energy to form a thermal insulation layer around my body. Using my grappling hook, I climb directly to the 3rd floor window. The 3rd floor houses the pharmacy. There are fewer zombies here. After dispatching a few wandering nurse zombies, I walk to the shelves. My hand sweeps across, and row after row of medicines vanish instantly. Halfway through my sweep, intense gunfire erupts from downstairs. I move to the window and look down. 2 modified armored vehicles ram through the hospital gates. 7 or 8 fully armed thugs are spraying gunfire at zombies. The vehicles bear the emblem of a black shark. Black Shark Gang? These guys again. Seems they've also realized the importance of medicine and came to loot under cover of night. What a coincidence, I chuckle coldly. I'm in no hurry to leave. Instead, I settle into a comfortable position by the window to watch the show below. The Black Shark Gang's firepower is fierce. They quickly clear a path and head straight for the lobby elevators. The gunfire is too loud. Not just the zombies in the plaza. Even zombies from several surrounding blocks are drawn here. Just as the Black Shark Gang rushes into the lobby, the floor suddenly explodes. A massive zombie over 3 meters tall with rippling muscles bursts up from below. Tier 2 mutant. Titan. Power type. My pupils constrict slightly. A tier 2 mutant already? What the hell? What is that thing? The Black Shark Gang members are terrified. Several AKs open fire simultaneously. The bullets hit the Titan but only splash tiny blood blooms. The Titan roars, casually grabs an abandoned gurney nearby and hurls it like a frisbee. 2 Black Shark Gang members are instantly pulverized. The scene descends into chaos. Perfect timing. My eyes light up. That's a tier 2 power core from a Titan. It'll let me level up directly and likely unlock a new skill. I wait patiently for the Black Shark Gang to wear down the Titan's stamina. 5 minutes later, the lobby falls silent. All 7 Black Shark Gang members are corpses. The Titan is also heavily wounded, wheezing heavily. It crouches on the ground, devouring corpses to recover. Now's my chance! Like a hawk, I leap from the 3rd floor. Mid-air, I retrieve a bundle of TNT from my system space. I light the fuse. Here's a present for you. The Titan opens its maw, instinctively thinking it's food, and chomps down. I roll as I land, taking cover behind a support column. A violent explosion shakes the entire building. When the smoke clears, everything above the Titan's neck has completely vanished, leaving only a massive headless corpse. I walk over and rummage through the pile of shredded flesh. Finally, I find a walnut-sized core. Tier 2 power core obtained. High-purity energy source detected. Absorb and upgrade immediately? Yes. The core in my hand instantly transforms into a warm current flowing into my palm. I feel every bone in my body crackling. Power surges through me wildly. System upgrade successful. Current level LV2. New function unlocked. Spatial rift blade. Consumes mental energy to create a 1-meter spatial rift in reality. Ignores physical defense. Cuts through any object. Ignores defense? I look at my palm. With a thought, an ink-black line materializes at my fingertips. I lightly trace it across the heavy armor of a nearby armored vehicle. Like cutting tofu, the hard steel plate splits open in a smooth line. I retract the ability with satisfaction and look at the 2 still-running armored vehicles. They're loaded with supplies the Black Shark Gang scavenged over the past few days. Thanks, gentlemen. I wave at the corpses on the ground and absorb everything, vehicles and cargo, into my space. This hospital trip not only netted me medicine and a level up, but also a windfall. Day 15 of the apocalypse. Shelter 7. The air here no longer circulates. A sour stench and the moldy smell of despair permeate everything. The gymnasium that once held 50,000 people now houses fewer than 30,000. Order has collapsed. With the generators finally dying, the last glimmer of civilization has vanished. In the darkness, people are no longer people but starving beasts. There's no food left. Open the warehouse. The officers are hoarding everything while we're left to gnaw and bark. The riot erupts without warning. Thousands of starving survivors break through the guards' defense line and surge like a tide toward the core administrative area. Gunfire screams and the sounds of tearing flesh merge into chaos. Chloe huddles in a corner of the bleachers, clutching a long, dulled snow shovel. This past week has been a living death. Her once fair hands are covered with frostbite and blisters. Chloe, run! This place is finished! Ryan rushes over, his face covered in blood. They say the zombie horde outside has breached the perimeter. This place is about to become a death trap. Run, run where? Chloe stares despairingly at the blizzard outside. It's 60 below out there. Going out is suicide. Go to the western outskirts, to your brother. Ryan grabs her shoulders and shakes her hard. Before, just the 2 of us wouldn't have worked. But what if we bring these thousands with us? Ryan's voice takes on a demonic whisper. You know the commander still has several heavy armored vehicles and heavy weapons, right? If you tell him. There's a fortress in the western outskirts stocked with supplies, heating, and electricity. What do you think he'll do? Chloe's eyes change, from despair to resentment, finally transforming into manic resolve. You're right. Why should I suffer alone? If you won't open the door to save me, then if I die, everyone dies together. Inside the core office, the commander, drenched in sweat, directs his subordinates to destroy documents while preparing to evacuate. Commander, I know a place. Chloe bursts in, shouting loudly despite the guns pointed at her. I know where there are supplies. Tens of thousands of tons, plus generators, plus completely secure fortifications. The commander whips around, staring at her intently. What did you say? I'm not lying. It's my brother's place. He's a hoarding system awakened. Before the apocalypse, he emptied every cold storage facility in the city. It's at the abandoned industrial zone in the western outskirts. If we take that place, we can survive. Everyone can survive. The commander's eyes light up. With the greedy gleam of salvation and desperation, the news spreads through the shelter like a virus. There's a granary in the western outskirts. Some selfish rich guy hoarded tens of thousands of tons of food. Let's kill him and take it all. The rioters, previously killing each other, suddenly have a common target. Half an hour later, a convoy with 5 heavy armored vehicles in the lead, over a dozen modified trucks following, and thousands of survivors trailing behind charges into the blizzard. Chloe sits in the lead armored vehicle, a cruel smile playing on her lips. Brother, this time I've brought an army to visit you. Let's see if you still refuse to open the door. At the rear of the convoy, a zombie horde drawn by the scent of living humans silently follows. The steel fortress's alarms don't sound. Instead, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony plays with rousing intensity. Dressed in a black tactical coat, I stand before the bulletproof floor-to-ceiling window on the second floor, a glass of red wine in my hand. I watch the writhing column moving through the snow in the distance. Finally, looking at the densely packed red dots on the surveillance screens, I smile. The system interface pops up a warning, large-scale hostile targets detected approaching. How flattering. I take a small sip of wine. I'm not worried in the slightest. If anything, I'm excited. These past few days at home, I've been bored enough to rust. Apart from upgrading abilities and watching old movies, dancing on a razor's edge is the apocalypse's greatest thrill. The convoy stops 500 meters from the industrial zone. The commander's voice booms through a megaphone. Ethan inside, listen carefully. We are the official search and rescue team from Shelter 7. We are now lawfully requisitioning your supplies and shelter. Disarm immediately and open the gate. I chuckle into my microphone. You mean bandits? My voice drips with undisguised mockery. The commander's face darkens. He didn't expect such stubbornness. Those who refuse mercy get none. Chloe, didn't you say you could break through? Go up there and call out. Let's see what family bonds look like. Chloe is pushed forward. She stands atop the armored vehicle with a megaphone. Ethan, you're surrounded. Look at these people. They're starving. You're hoarding all these supplies alone. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Open the door now and everyone might remember your kindness. Otherwise, when we break in, you'll be torn to pieces. Torn to pieces? I shake my head. My finger rests lightly on a red button on the console. Little sister, you're still so naive. You think bringing all these people threatens me? You're delivering experience points. Open fire. The commander loses patience. An RPG rocket whistles toward the factory gate, but just as it's about to hit, an invisible barrier flares to life. The rocket ricochets as if hitting a mirror, bizarrely reversing course and shooting straight toward a nearby truck. The truck loaded with rioters is instantly blown to scrap metal. Return fire. Shoot! Countless bullets rain down on the walls like a storm, but only sparks fly. They barely scratch the paint. I snap my fingers. My turn. Then I press the button. Defense System Sequence 2, minefield activated. The snow beneath the rioters at the front suddenly collapses. Hundreds of mines detonate in succession. The snow instantly turns crimson. Hundreds of people simply vaporize. Retreat. Fall back. The crowd stampedes backward in terror, but those behind keep pushing forward. The scene instantly descends into complete chaos. Just then, deafening howls erupt from the snowy plains behind them. Over 1,000 zombies, drawn by the explosions and blood, finally reveal their fangs. Stimulated by fresh blood, they charge into the rear of the crowd like rabid dogs. Help! Zombies! Zombies behind us! We're surrounded. Chloe, use your ability to clear the minefield ahead. Hurry. The commander, eyes wild with desperation, presses his gun to Chloe's head. Chloe trembles all over, desperately using her elimination ability on the area ahead, but the minefield is too vast. Her stamina is a drop in the ocean. In less than a minute, blood streams from her nose. She collapses on the vehicle roof. Useless! The commander kicks her off the vehicle and dives into the armored vehicle attempting to flee. But how could I let him escape? Since you came all this way, leave something behind. I stand on the terrace and raise my right hand, making a grasping motion at the turning armored vehicle. Spatial rift blade! A visible black fissure slashes through the air. Without a sound, the multi-ton heavy armored vehicle, along with the commander inside, is cleaved in half at the waist. The entire battlefield falls deathly silent, everyone stunned by the power of that single strike. Ryan hides among the corpses, staring at the man standing on high like a god. The battle rages for 3 full hours. The force of over 3,000 is almost entirely wiped out. Corpses litter the ground. The heat from fresh blood melts the snow, which quickly refreezes into a thick layer of red ice, turning this place into a massive open-air morgue. The zombie horde has also been mostly cleared by my heavy machine gun. The blizzard stops. A pale moon hangs in the sky, illuminating this hellscape. Only 2 living people remain before the gate. Chloe and Ryan. Lucky for them, being kicked off the vehicle at the start and playing dead under the wreckage allowed them to barely cling to life until now. The gate slowly opens. Tactical axe in hand, I walk toward them step by step. Chloe kneels on the ground, face covered in blood. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I was forced. The commander forced me to come. You know how timid I am. Right. They forced us. For the sake of our past relationship, spare me. I'll serve you like a slave. I stop 2 meters in front of them. Without a word, I retrieve a table and chairs from my system space. Then I pull out a small red clay stove. I light the fire, set up the pot, pour water, add the hot pot base. Soon, the spicy aroma wafts through the air. I take out a plate of thinly sliced lamb and leisurely begin cooking it. Hungry? I pick up a piece of meat and blow on it to cool it. Chloe and Ryan's throats bob, their eyes fill with longing but even more with fear. Let me have a bite, please! Chloe begs through tears. This scene is so familiar. I place the meat in my mouth and chew slowly. In my past life, I begged you the same way. Through that door, I begged you for a sip of water, even just an expired cracker. What did you say? Chloe trembles all over, too terrified to speak. speak. You said supplies are for useful people. The useless don't deserve to waste air. I set down my chopsticks and look at them with icy eyes. Now, I return those words to you. I stand up. The tactical axe in my hand gleams coldly in the moonlight. Ryan, I call out. Ryan thinks there's hope and quickly looks up. You said you love Chloe and would die for her, right? Ryan hesitates and glances at Chloe beside him. Kill her, and I'll take you in. My voice is full of temptation. I'll even give you an enhancement serum. You can become awakened too. A dagger lands in front of Ryan. The ultimate test of humanity. No! Chloe stares at Ryan in terror, backing away. You won't! We're in love! Ryan looks at the dagger, then at the warm, brightly lit fortress behind Ethan, then at this filthy, worthless woman before him. In that moment, the mask called love completely shatters. Ryan suddenly snatches the dagger and lunges at Chloe with a twisted expression. Chloe, you heard him! If you die, I get to live. You're useless now anyway. What's wrong with dying for me? Chloe screams. Survival instinct unleashes her last reserves of strength. The dagger in Ryan's hand vanishes into thin air, but he's already on top of Chloe, both hands clamped tightly around her neck. Die! Die! Stop blocking my way! The two grapple in a pool of blood, like two beasts tearing at each other. Ugly. Utterly ugly. I watch this scene coldly, as if watching a grotesque comedy, until both are exhausted and collapse on the ground, gasping. Chloe's face is mangled from bites. Ryan has lost an eye. Magnificent. I clap slowly. But I lied to you. I walk up to them and raise my axe. My safe house never accepts garbage. Amid their desperate screams, the axe rises and falls. Blood sprays onto the white snow like a blooming plum blossom. The grudges of this life finally come to an end. Without hesitation, I turn and wave my hand. The corpses on the ground and the armored vehicle wreckage in the distance are all absorbed into the system's waste disposal. The entrance becomes spotless once more. Back inside, I walk to the massive floor-to-ceiling window. I watch the blizzard still raging outside. The world has died, but I'm still alive, and I'll live well. I take a bottle of aged whiskey from the cabinet and pour 2 glasses. One I pour on the floor, a tribute to my foolish past life self. The other I raise to the sky, toasting this cruel yet magnificent new world. Hello, Apocalypse. I am Ethan, king of this domain.